order. This is a meeting of the members of the Cumberland Area Economic Development Corporation, today, June 28th, 2023, 1:30 p.m., the appointed hour. Right. We'll open with a roll call of members present, please.
Commissioner Zuckerberger.
Present.
Commissioner Fauci. I'm here. Commissioner DiFilippo.
Present. Okay, very good. Thank you. We'll move on to public comment. Anybody here for public comment? All right, nothing there. We'll go on to item 4, which is the business item for the day. Discussion of possible motion to approve. This is in regards to the CAEDC lease of property. So I guess, Janet, would you care to address this first?
Sure. So we are hoping to lease 230 South Sporting Hill Road in Mechanicsburg for CAEDC's new offices. We're very excited. It's taken us several iterations of a lease to get to this point. It's a great space. It will allow our staff the opportunity to collaborate better than what we have in our current office, as well as have space for offices. It's approximately 4,700 square feet with 3 suites. The landlord is in the 1 suite on the 2nd floor. We would occupy about 2/3 of the 1st floor for our space. The term is initially 63 months, starting September 1 of this year and ending November 30th of 2028. The first 3 months are rent-free. So our first rent payment is December 1, 2023. We have budgeted for this year, rent for this year, so there will be a savings that will occur as a result of not having to pay for those 3 months. We may extend the lease for a term of 3 to 5 years at the end of our first 5-year term. The rent does include our utilities, garbage, and taxes. We, CAEDC, are responsible for the janitorial and security. And our rental beginning December 1st is $15 a square foot, going up over the 5 years to a total of $17.21 a square foot. So I'll stop there and see if you have any questions for us.
Janet, I'm somewhat familiar with the building.
Okay.
How does the square footage compare to where you're at now?
Currently, we have a little more than 6,000 square feet. So taking into account the hybrid nature of our workforce, and the layout, we are happy with the 47 square feet.
And how does the parking compare?
So the parking is a lot better. We have parking on site, we have designated parking spaces, and we have access to up to 62 parking spaces for board meetings and things. So we believe it's more than adequate.
I didn't see anything really out of the ordinary. I don't have any other questions at the moment.
And what is there any out clause if we choose to break the lease for some reason?
There is no out clause.
Okay. So you're obligated.
We are
If
obligated.
the space is no longer sufficient, you're carrying that obligation.
Yes.
Okay. Raise 1 or 2 points, and there are really more observations. This is either the 4th or 5th location for CAEDC. Never before have the commissioners forced that rental obligation to come to a commissioner's vote. So I'm questioning that that's necessary. I've questioned it before. So Keith, I would ask you to talk to Chris Rice and get a little clarity. You and I just discussed this issue of what is debt obligation. And I think when we discussed debt obligation, we were thinking in terms of something along the lines of a bank note, bank loan, or a bond issuance that public sector has no debt obligations.
That's a very good point. I talked to Chris Rice about it, and if you look at the language of the bylaws, it speaks specifically to incurring any debt or liability in excess of $1 with respect to a single transaction. That conceivably could be anything. And
This is an operational expense. not
right,
an
and
obligation.
keeping, and I don't disagree with that, but keeping in with the theme that I've heard from the commissioners that the members should stay out of the operation aspects of that entity. It may be worthwhile at some point to change that provision in particular. I mean, looking at it literally, you go buy something by credit at an office supply store and you spend over $1 of liability. So there are different ways to do this, but to do it the right way would require an amendment to that particular provision of the bylaw. I'll be glad to talk to Chris about it.
Okay.
I don't want to.
Just for clarity, so there is no public sector definition that specifies debt obligation beyond what you described to us.
I'm not aware because of the language specifically is incurring any debt or liability in excess of $1. It's so broad.
Okay.
And I'm not aware of any definition of that that would apply to a nonprofit entity under the laws that would govern.
Okay. I just think some additional information for future would be helpful.
So Keith, you're saying it would be okay if we took action on it?
Absolutely. I'd really recommend it. I mean, if the idea is to improve the debt obligation, frankly, the rest of the lease really doesn't matter. At least it shouldn't matter.
Okay. All right, additional questions? If not, we have, I guess that concludes discussion. So we have possible action today. Entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve a debt obligation CAEDC associated with the CAEDC lease of property that is being presented to us today and which has been reviewed by our solicitor.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's moved in and seconded. If there's no further questions, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. And I believe that concludes the topic. So ladies are coming in.
Thank you.
I think that's a great location.
Very excited to move into a better space. We had some issues with our space with all the rain over the past few days, ceiling tile, et cetera. So
How long have we been in there now? We've had trouble since like day one.
Yeah,
It's reached a point where
been in there
we're not going to get a resolution.
10.
10 years, okay.
10 years.
Since I've been here.
And there was no rent, right?
We paid parking and some other things, but.
And we
there's-
did all the renovations to the space. In lieu of rent.
Thank you.
Did I see it? So,
Okay.
so do we have other business for this meeting? We have another session after this?
We have a session at 2, but Kirk is here for that. And he actually has a different topic that he'd like to bring you up to speed on. Do you want to, in between meetings?
Is that appropriate for this meeting or we go?
Oh, no, this meeting is done, right?
Well, we haven't adjourned it yet. That's why I'm asking. We're under other
Oh,
business.
I'm sorry.
Is this under other business or do we need a separate meeting?
No, I apologize. I thought the meeting had adjourned.
So it's not an executive session or
No,
you can bring in a public meeting because we're in a public meeting.
no, it's just informational.
It's information.
Would be executive session.
Would be exactly.
Oh, would be, okay.
Okay, very good. So we have nothing under other business, correct?
We need to adjourn.
Okay, so we'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Stand